What is the great motivator for your life? Have you noticed that in our society, the great motivator is either fear or shame? It's one of those two, right? I read an article the other day that said this. This was the opening line. Which states are the best and worst at masking? Like social distancing and all that kind of stuff, right? What motivator is that? Fear and shame, right? The employee that doesn't want to get fired, fear and shame. The soccer player who barely made the team but is working really hard just not to get cut, right? Fear and shame. And I would say one great misconception about God is that he motivates us in the same way, fear and shame, right? He's going to shame us when we do something wrong, fear of being condemned or ousted or not loved as much. And we bring this performance-based perception of God and of our world, really, into how we perceive who he is and how we relate to him. And so then we relate to him in the form of fear. Listen, there's a verse in 1 John 4:18 that says this. Listen really well to this. There is no fear in love, but perfect love drives out all fear. Because fear has to do with punishment. The one who fears is not made perfect in love. So that's pretty amazing. There is no fear in love. But perfect love drives out all fear. So I look at that and I realize if perfect love drives out fear, then love has to be stronger than fear, right? In a similar way, if I had some junk in this water, right? I can either try to force it out, I can try to scrub it out, but really the best possible way to get junk out of this water bottle, let's say there's mud in there, or some kind of pollutant or something like that. The best possible way to get junk out of this water bottle is to simply put it under the faucet and let a steady stream of water flow into this water bottle, fill it up, and overflow it continuously, right? Because over time, the junk will be slowly purified. Water has to be more powerful than the junk that's in the water bottle, and it is. It's weightier, right? And a steady flow of it will purify the contents in this bottle. See, in a similar way, that is the Christian life. That's how God made the Christian life. That we were to continuously come to him, place our lives underneath his faucet of love and grace and generosity, and allow his weighty love. See, the Bible calls his weighty love his glory. And that just means his substance or his weight. So when Jesus walked this earth and he showed us his love and his weight and his glory and his substance, we looked at his life and said, wow, now that is a human being, right? That's his glory, that's his weight. And so when God pours his glory into our hearts, and we, by faith, come to him every morning and say, God, there is junk in my life. Would you get it out, please? I place my faith under your stream of love. Over time, you will be made pure. And that produces hope, right? When we make progress in our faith. And so right before that verse where it says there is no fear in love, he said this. And so we know, we experience, we know this firsthand, and we rely on the love God has for us. Now remember, keep in mind what that love is. It's a gospel love. It's a costly, generous love. It is While we were still sinners, Christ died for us. While we were in the midst of being filthy and rebellious and walking away from him and wanting to do our own thing and turning away from his generous offer of life, that's when he gave his life for us. So in the midst of that, right, there's no fear in love. The perfect, weighty, substantive love of God in Jesus Christ pushes out all fear and is the great motivator. Fear will not motivate you. It'll motivate you to be a slave. But the love of Christ will motivate you as a son or a daughter, adopted into the family and secure in his love. There's no greater motivator.